This is how to get a patient on and off of cervical decompression, okay, cervical for neck. The table most often will be set up in a low back setting since we do that 8 to 9 times out of 10. So I want to teach you how to set this table, break it down so you can get it set up for neck first, okay? We're not going to need paper. We're not going to need a pillow for the patient. Get those off of there. Then you're not going to need this low back strap, which we use for the low back. So you're going to take the opposite end and this ring, you're going to flip it so it's down here. Let this flip over. Push that off to the side so it's nice and flat. It's out of the way. We're going to need to raise this up, okay? Make sure the table is locked. Right? We don't want to slide. It should be. If you did the low back training the way it was done, you know this needs to be locked. If it's not, lock it. There's a corner handle right underneath here. You're going to squeeze it. You squeeze it, it will lift up. Just a little bit. You want about a 45-degree angle to start, okay? And then you're going to take the cervical device, which is kept over here in the corner. It has 2 prongs. One here and one here. And those are going to fit right into the holes right on the side of this device. So you're going to slide this in. It goes in and it goes down. So it's like an L-shaped bracket. It goes in there, it sits right in like that. Now we're good to go. We're going to get the patient on the table. Have a seat right here. One second. Okay, so now the patient is sitting. You're going to have him sit right up against the corner of this angled portion of the table. You're going to have him lay on his back. Perfect. Now, you can see how he's laying a horizontal angle. But let me show you what this looks like otherwise. Lift your head up for me, Doc, real quick. There's these 2 posts right here. His neck is going to sit right in through here, so his head is resting here. Go ahead and bring your head back. Yes. Now, imagine somebody who's got a really thick neck. It may not be wide enough in here, so you can use this knob, and you will use this knob right here to change the width of it. Lift your head up for me again real quick so we can tighten it up. If I tighten this, you can see how those 2 posts come closer together, or go counterclockwise, and that widens them. So whatever you need to do for that patient, go ahead and lay your head on back again. So for them, you just want to make sure their neck can fit right in through there, just like that. And then this strap here goes up around their forehead, like this. There's a little cushion part. Make sure that's on their head. If it's over to the left too far, you get the Velcro strap on their head. It's not as comfortable. So make sure you slide that cushion over so it's right over the midline of their neck. You're going to strap Velcro on this side. There. And one on this side. There. Not too tight, just enough so that his head is actually feels like it's secured on there. Okay. Now, this next part is important. His skull has a bone that sticks out right behind his ear. It's called the EOP. And that EOP is going to be somewhat tender, and that mastoid will be somewhat tender if the pressure on that is on there, directly on there. So you want to make sure there's a little bit of gap between this and that mastoid, okay? The best way to feel that is just to feel in there and just tell if there's a little gap, and there is for him. So for him, I'm going to tighten this up, and my wording is as such, and this is exactly what you should say. I'm going to turn this until it is snug, but still comfortable. So you just start turning it clockwise. And he says, give me the thumbs up. Yep. We're good. With it, generally, when they say that, it's probably still a little half turn too tight because they're going to be doing this for about 25 minutes. And all that pulling on that area can make it a little tender after a while. So I'm going to turn it back a half turn anyway. Just like that. Okay. Next, we're going to need to actually get him up higher now. So to do that, I'm going to put you back over here so you can see. How this is to be done. So we're going to lower this part into a flattened position while the table raises up. This is the most difficult part about this setup. Okay? This is how you do it. You're going to put your foot on the up pedal. Okay? You're going to raising him up. And as he raises up, I'm going to grab this device that lowers, or this button. I'm going to hold it. Okay? So this can go up and down. right? So this goes up. I'm going to lower this down as the table comes up. Because if you don't, then this thing is going to be, it's going to be at an angle and it won't sit right. You want this to be level and parallel with the table, which it is right now. Okay? Now, we're doing a setting of, this is what a neck setting will look like. No turns necessary, because we're not using that knob right there, because that's for the low back. That's for the turns. We don't need turns in this setting. So that being said, there's only degrees, 10 degrees, 12 pounds, 25 minutes. So we're going to set the degrees up, and that's important, because it matters as to where this needs to be. So, again, to pull the rope out, we're going to hit the rope release button. Hold it down. Hold the rope out, then let go of the rope release button. Now you got some slack in that rope. There's a little hook right here at the top. You're going to carabine the clip right in the top. It's locked in. We got a lot of slack here. Okay, we're going to hold that tight. Again, push the rope release button. Slowly allow this rope to feed back in. There's no more slack. Then you release that button. Okay, we are a little low for 10 degrees. So again, we do with the low back, you're going to need to get down, squat down, and look at these numbers. He's a little low for 10 degrees. So we're going to go up a little bit more. There we go. So we're right at 10 degrees. I'm squatted down here. I'm level with the table. You can see I'm right here next to him. And I'm looking there, and you know that's 10 degrees. You can see that right there. And this white brace or white decompression device is parallel with this table. Okay, if this table is up too high, then it angles this up, and I'll show you an example of that. You can see the difference. There is now a gap underneath this white device. Do you see that? That gap is not good. We want that gap to be gone. So we have to lower the table down this way to get that to be parallel. So again, this is where that device is right here. You just pull that button. So I'm going to pull it. I'm going to hold him. I'm going to lower him down a little bit. So now it's parallel. It's still actually not quite good. And now he's parallel. You can see where that device is parallel with the table. We're good. We're at 10 degrees. Yes, we're good. Now we can actually set up the rest of it. Okay? By the way, sometimes these hooks right in here, sometimes they can pop up and out because the latch in there is not as good. The engineering on it was not as good as it should have been. So sometimes you actually have to take this and make sure that it's down in there and locked in. Otherwise, this will pop up and pull out as they're doing decompression. So just check that before you get them set up. So we got 10 degrees. We're good. We're set up 12 pounds. So we're going to go to home. Home. Okay, back to the home screen. So cervical traction. Remember, this is low back, lumbar. Cervical is next. So we're going to hit cervical. And then we're going to hit edit. And then we're going to change the maximum levels, which are up right up in here. So maximum is going to be 12. Enter. And then the minimum is half of the maximum. So in this case, 6. It's half of 12. Go back arrow. So you're back to this screen. Now, we're going to change this right here to 25 minutes. Like I said, the default for the machine is always 15. It's not enough. 25 is what we generally use. Speed is going to be 50%. That's always going to be 50%. And there we go. Now we're ready. And for him, the last thing we're going to do is his legs are propped up. We want to keep those legs relaxed. So we're going to grab these blocks that are over there in the corner of the room. We're going to grab these blocks, put one underneath his leg here. Yes, good. Grab the other block. Put underneath his other leg right here. Good. And I tell the patient, or ask the patient, are you comfortable? Rearrange the leg blocks. If he's not completely comfortable, move him around until he is. Okay? You don't have to mess around with this. Like we talked about, this wheel is only for low back in terms of treatment. But you can see that it does change the angle of his low back. So I always ask the patient, do you like it where it is? Do you want me to raise it up higher? Do you want me to take it down lower. What feels better to you? What feels better there, Doc?
A little bit higher.
Go up a little bit.
Good.
They're good? Okay. It's just a comfort thing for the patient. It's not going to affect the neck at all. It just makes their low back feel a little bit better because they're going to be here for about a half hour. You're good to go. Now you just come over here, hit that start button. We're off and running. Once the patient is finished up, you'll hear a beeping just like you just heard. So let's go ahead and just pretend like he's finished after that half-hour cycle. That means the treatment is all done. Okay, so you can come in here and we're going to, let me back it up here so you can actually see from a better vantage point. Okay. So we're going to get his neck as comfortable as possible, as quickly as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off. That takes pressure off the forehead. You can slide that off. That's step one. You can also loosen this up too, around the neck. So it's a little more loose around his neck. Okay, so there's no more pressure here, no more pressure here, and the rest you can take your time. So we're going to hit rope release. Good. Pull that out. Let go. Make sure you're holding on to that the whole time. Take the carabiner clip, slide it out. Pull it tight again. Hold the rope release button. Back in. Only when it's all the way back in do you let go of the rope release button. Okay? Once you're there, we're just going to slide these out. 1, 2. They go side by side over against the wall over here to the left. That's where they go. Patient is going to be probably maybe a little stiff in the neck, but in this case, unlike the low back, they don't have to turn over on their side. They can get up any way they want. They're already kind of sitting up as it is. So you just lower the table down. You have to say, come on up. We're done. More than likely, the person after this is going to be doing low back. So we're going to break it down to where it was. Thank you. We're going to break it down like it was when we first started for the next patient. So we're going to take this piece. Remember, it goes up and out. So we lift it up and out. This goes in the corner of the room back behind the device. This is where it goes. Once we're there, again, grab the knob right here. Let the table drop down. So it's flat. Take the low back. Brace. Strap. Put it right here. Get everything back so the next person, who very likely is going to be a low back decompression, it's already ready to go. Get the pillow. Set it here. Fresh paper. Set it here. And we're done. And that's how you take somebody onto and off of cervical decompression.